Hey, hey. How's everything, everybody? What's good, everybody? Once again, another Survival Saturday. We're doing good. What's going on, Tactical Skillionaire, AK Lover? Come on through. Black Poindexter. Yeah. Tap In Productions. Outgoing. How's everything? Yeah, today's topic on Survival Saturday be basically going over some things, surviving, how you survive during the day. Old school, what's going on? Okay, y'all tap in. Hey, hey.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ben. Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
hey. What's going on?
Hi, BP. What's going on?
Hey, hey.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ben. Hi, everybody.
I gotta do it with my other hand.
Hi, BP.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Hey, hey.
How you doing, Carmen?
Hi, everybody.
Should
How
not
are
say
you?
that.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Unless your world comes and die.
Okay. Sorry.
There we go.
There we go. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Everybody doing okay?
Yeah, everybody's good. So, what was your incident on your this survival Saturday? What did you survive?
What did I survive? Well, it was cold, but besides that, I decided this year I was going to eat healthy, so I was making myself a smoothie on Tuesday night and proceeded to almost cut my finger off.
Wow. Glad you feel that.
Yeah, it was kind of fun since I, handle firearms and knives every day, and almost got taken out by a immersion blender. But I don't know if you can show it on the camera. But I was going to do my dressing as we're doing the thing, because I have a dressing I have to change 3 times a day.
Okay.
But basically ended up with 8 stitches in my finger. You can see the cut goes from over there all the way over to the other side. This camera, so it goes all the way around there, so you can see that, and also has the tip of the finger. Sorry, Carbon. Also, the tip of the finger there. You see it kind of shiny right here on the fingertip.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened was, I made a mistake. Did the one thing you're not supposed to do is be distracted, and always remember, just like when you're handling firearms, you have a sympathetic response whenever you squeeze one hand or move one hand. Your body typically wants to compensate and move the other hand. So I had the immersion blender in this hand. Instead of putting it down and unplugging it, I started moving towards the plug and moved this hand with the end of the device, stuck my hand basically in it, and so I kind of stood there for about 5 seconds and decided, okay, when I take my finger out of here, I hope it's still attached. So luckily it was still attached, but unfortunately it was bleeding pretty profusely. Of course, I have first aid bags everywhere, so I went and got my first aid kit, the big one, and started taking 4x4s, which you should always have, your supply of 4x4s. Really good to have. Basically started holding the wound, compressing the wound, holding pressure on it. Did that for about 4 or 5 minutes, took it off, still bleeding bad, started looking and assessing the wound. And that's one of the things you do too. I don't know if you notice, like on a lot of these 4x4s, you can look and see that, you know, it has like markings that you can measure how big the wound is. So if you don't know, I figured it was like already 3 centimeters, which is pretty significant. You know, I just gotta, you know, have that go in. Plus the end flap was kind of hanging down on the bottom of my finger. This part was like hanging down. So I knew it was going to need stitches. So I could have done that myself since I do have a kit, but decided to go on in. So put the pressure on it, you know, held that for 5 minutes, still wasn't getting better, tried to stay calm. I was cursed up the store. So just being upset about, you know, doing something stupid. So people, don't do that. Put the pressure on it. Got myself into the emergency room, and she's like, yeah, we're going to definitely need to stitch that up. So got 8 stitches there. And then, of course, on the end, we always talk about using, you know, Gorilla Glue. Yeah. Basically for this one on the end and around there, that's basically what they did with that one because it's on the nail. So they want to secure that and make sure it's closed, they're not infected. So Gorilla Glue does work. Having your supplies is always important. And also, you know, once you get stuff, of course, they want to put you on antibiotics. That's why I went into because I knew they needed antibiotics. So, you know, you have that. And then they also gave pain meds, which I didn't use. Sorry, Carmen. I should have.
It's okay. No. Someone was at the door.
So, you know, they gave me pain medication since I don't really want to use them. I think I took one out of the box, out of the bottle. So that goes into my medical kit as well. So I've got some things. Of course, they give you antibiotic ointment. It's good to have that. So I use the old stuff and keep the new stuff since this has a longer date. So I use my old stuff, put that in my kit. And they gave me an additional splint, you know, a couple of these splints also, which go into my medical kit. So basically what you want to do is if you're away from somebody, you know, away from, you know, civilization, basically want to, you know, of course, compress the wound, make sure you try to close it as best as possible, you know, approximate those edges. If you are going to suture it out, if you're familiar with suturing, you don't close it completely. You always want to leave a little edge on the end closure because you want the wound to close naturally. So she did a really good job approximating the wound with her sutures and let you put them on there. And then if you have other wounds like in areas, especially near the joint, or like near the nail here, to use the glue there because you want to seal that to keep it from getting infected. That's the primary area that can get infected. So you can use that to seal and approximate wounds that are difficult to suture. So that was like a lesson in first aid, a lesson in being careful, not being negligent, you know, getting distracted. And in my mind, when it happened, I said I should put it down and then, you know, unplug it. And I didn't listen to my mind. And so again, always listen to your first self, listen to, you know, always listen to yourself and avoid, you know, injuries like that because it can happen. So again, survival can happen, emergencies can happen anytime, any place, to anybody. So, you know, be prepared. So if that happens to somebody in your family, have those things on hand. Have, you know, a set of 4x4s. Have you abdominal pad. Initially, I used an abdominal pad because that's more absorbent. And then keep count of that stuff. So when you're doing it, you know, if you go through each pad, so when you get to the doctor, say, okay, I used, you know, 5 of these in an abdominal pad, so they can kind of judge, you know, the level of blood loss, this, that, and the other. So just some little tips and pointers. But other than that, it was a good week.
That's good. That's good. That's something going through.
You're okay though, but you had all this stuff to take care of.
Yeah, and staying calm. I just, you know, just staying focused doesn't make sense. Like I said, words were coming out, but just, you know, maintain that pressure, elevating it. That was the other thing I did as well, you know, making sure I hold it up because it, you know, helps in trying to staunch some of the blood flow. So just doing some of those simple things and having, like you said, your kit and your stuff on hand. And then afterwards, you know, 3 dressing changes a day, having, you know, again, this is one of my kits that I keep together in a Ziploc bag. So I already had, you know, some of this elastic tape. Basically, they use elastic tape. So this is very functional, especially like for holding on splints and stuff like that. I already have that, got extra of that to put in my kit. And then again, like I said, 4x4s and other stuff like that. So always have that stuff on hand because you never know when you may need it. So this is really good for holding on, compression bandages, for holding on splints and things of that nature. So, and this stuff is relatively inexpensive, but it's always good to have extra.
Gotcha. That's good to know. Good to know.
All right.
It is. Yeah.
What about you guys? Hopefully less eventful. You, Carmen?
Every day is an adventure. Every day you survive something.
Man, we survived.
Yep.
Did you guys do anything different? I know it's probably colder up there where you guys are. Did you guys do anything different or add anything to your bags or your car kits or anything?
Not this week. No, I got some land navigation stuff, but that's about it. And I started helping somebody else on their way to prepping.
Cool.
So that's about it.
It's always good.
Yeah. Gloves, add gloves. Well, my gloves is always in my get home bag. So,
Yeah.
that's about it. Just adding those wool socks and boots, thermals, just preparing.
The one thing I did put in my bag was I normally don't carry my water, like my Camel. But I'm starting to carry that in my kit every day too. And plus I put a water bottle in my car as well, just in case, I get stuck somewhere, I have extra water. So that's one thing I added, just in case, say my car broke down or I slid into a ditch somewhere. So that's the one thing I did add to my everyday, like, get home bag or car kit. So
yeah,
because we got some actually ice on the road this week down here, which is rare. San Antonio, of course, is not used to that, so they shut down. People drive crazy and do a lot of crazy stuff. So, but luckily, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'd like to shout out to everybody in the chat zone.
We got AAF, Tactical, Skillionaire, Subskilly TK, QB, Santee, and
Santee, She Fires, AF with AAL.
in here. Parrot's Eyes up in here too. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Doing good.
And Queen Dexter, I'm sorry, but I have an emergency, so I have to go.
Okay.
You guys come down, all right?
Good.
Bye, everybody in this.
You're good.
All right.
Take care.
Okay.
So in the chat, anybody have any incidents or anything that they're doing on their preparedness tip? I know there's a lot of stuff that's in the news. I'm sure, Ben, MHP, what's going on. Inflation is going crazy, supply chain going crazy. So anybody want to come in and talk about some of the things that you're doing? I'm still seeing a lot of people in the stores. But I look in the bags and it's still Hostess Ding Dongs and it's still a lot of stuff that's not going to really help you. And I go down the rice and rice shelves are full and beans are full and other things that, you're going to need long-term, high caloric, foods are still sitting on the shelves. So just wondering if anybody else is kind of aware or preparing. Communication as well. That's really, really, really huge. So we got to have those things, because if you're in a situation where, even a temporary, and that's the other thing too, it might get those flashlights, all that stuff. You got to have it. You have to be prepared for whatever, may happen. In Texas, we have a history of losing power, and we keep seeing that, people just aren't prepared for just 3 days without power. So, what are you going to do if, you don't have access to be able to chill, your foods, keep your foods cold, as well as medications. So that's something that's hugely important. Let's see.
Yeah, that's one thing also. How many in the chat, in the comments, have their bug out bag or the get home bag or the EDB, everyday bag prepped?
Yeah. Prepped, ready, accessible.
Yeah.
And know and how to use the stuff that's inside there. I see North Florida Tactical. Why don't you come in here, brother? Come on up in here. Talk about, since we're talking about preparedness, and I'm sure he has a lot of information to share. So come on in here. But having that stuff is one thing, but knowing how to use it and practicing with it, and knowing that it's in a good state, you just don't put the stuff in the bag and just leave it there because there are expiration dates or use by dates. Of course, you can push those dates back, but make sure your supplies are fresh, and usable and viable. When you get into a situation where you go to reach for something and
Yeah,
it's not
you mess out of luck. What
exactly.
bags you carry. I mean, I tell people, ask yourself if you can make a range bag, you can make a get home bag.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's no difference. There's no excuse.
And keeping it with you, keeping it nearby. Have one in your car, having one, in your in your home aside from your normal everyday use bag that you may have like for first aid or survival. Having a small kit that you can give to your kids or put in your backpack, a small med kit that you can put in
Yeah.
there. It doesn't take up much space, and getting them used to using it. Getting like I teaching my son how to use a tourniquet, because if I get injured, I want to have somebody who has my back. So I know we're out and about a lot. So if something happens to me, he could have my back, or he could help somebody else. You never know.
Vice versa. That's true. There we go. Good to know that. Who else has a bag? TK.
Cool. Did you have any previous training, medical training or TK? And anybody who has, anything to add, want to come up in here, please, hit that link, come on up in here, because this is about sharing what you have, what works for you, because again, it's also dependent on the person, your environment, your skill level, what you're comfortable with. So, one person's is going to look totally different from the next person's. There's no one answer. So we can say, put this, 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 and this, and we're going to get that list and put, must-have items or things that you should have in there, but it's always something that's going to be tailored to you. You may have, something that I don't have. I know I, have stuff that I can go and intubate people and, do other advanced types of therapies and stuff like that if needed. But everybody doesn't need that or is comfortable with that or would be able to use that. So, and I'm sure Ben Shooten has his, his kit that's tailored to him. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, those skills, a lot of people don't have that. And you learn and see a lot. So definitely.
OG $2.
And the CNA, definitely. You have, to me, that's a great, set of information and, skills to have, because a lot of people, my mother, father, brothers, sisters, they have various degrees and levels of knowledge and a lot of different things. But when it comes to medical, yes, I'm amazed at how little they really, really, really know. So when I talk to them, I'm like, you didn't know how to do this or know about this? So, don't take it for granted. So if you have that information, TK, put it out there, share it, teach others around you, because, that's can come in useful for somebody someday. So we don't want to hold on to that information and knowledge. Never underestimate, your level, your skill set.
That's good to know. That's things that we have to do. Understand.
Simple things like taking a pulse. A lot of people don't know how to take a pulse. That was going to be my medical minute this week, but just taking a pulse, knowing why you take a pulse. A lot of times, people, they think, oh, if somebody's down on the ground, I have to start CPR, I have to start compressions. Well, how do you know you need to do that? You just don't jump up on somebody and start, jumping on their chest, because you could be doing more harm than good. So you have to be able to get in there and take a pulse. Know that you have your thumb here. If you go straight down from the thumb on the outside, use your two fingers and put them right there. That's called a radial pulse. And you don't want to press too hard, but just hold that, and you'll feel that pulse rate. And then what you can do is, if you have a watch, which is why I love a watch with a second hand, you take that pulse for 10 seconds or 6 seconds, excuse me, and multiply times 10. So you take it for 6 seconds, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if it goes 8 times, multiply that times 10, that's 80. So you don't have to stay there for a long period of time. You could do a quick 6 second times 10, and you have that person's pulse. You can also go basically from, you know, the corner of take your ear and go straight down there. Take a pulse. If you hold it right under that area right there, that's called carotid. And you can feel it again, you know, again, just 6 seconds. 8. So that's roughly around 80. So it gives you a quick ballpark, and you can tell whether or not they have a pulse. Again, another where it's that V area, you know, D'Angelo made famous, you know, that little V, you know, back in the day, you know, you go down there. Again, put your 2 fingers again there, and you press down, and you can check again for, you know, 6 seconds, so you can get that, you know, femoral pulse. So you want to always check and make sure whether or not that person has a pulse before you, you know, start initiating any type of action. And if they have a pulse, you know, you're good. So, you know, that's another from the Adam's apple over, you know, or from here down. I was taught like this way because usually that ear is easy to find. But if they're offset, you know, or if you have a small Adam's apple, sometimes it's hard to find that landmark. But, you know, just the first thing you want to do is make sure you check that before you jump into action. So.
Okay.
What's up, Skilly? How you doing, man?
What's going on, OGs? How y'all doing today?
Doing good,
All
man. See
good.
the shades on, shade crew.
Yeah.
Blue
What's
block.
good with you?
Oh man, nothing. Trying to get where y'all at. Trying to get these bags together.
Yeah.
Encourage the kids and the wife to go along with it. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, prior to, you know, how long have you been, you know, into that first aid or trying to get that? Is that something recent, or were you kind of interested in it before?
I've been more interested since RGG brung it and y'all been doing it. So I've been kind of really interested in it just because, like you say, if I'm in a house or somebody comes in the house and I get shot or something, you know, the kids and the wife will be able to take care of me. So it's more than, it's very important when it comes to trying to survive or you get in a situation.
Like cutting off your own finger, like some stupid people do.
Yeah, that look nasty. Yeah. That look nasty. I'm always cutting my fingers though, so I can't talk.
Come on, Skilly. Fingers too? Eyes and fingers? You gotta pick one, man. You gotta do eyes and fingers.
It happens.
Hey, that's something you have to learn out, man. Learn to also.
Look, he's got it. You know, it's just, you know, being careful, being mindful, you know, don't be in a rush. So
This is some good stuff, man.
I wanted to ask y'all. I'm wearing it today. I got the light. Let me see. Okay, I got my plate on today.
Yeah.
there you go.
The light here. So I'm trying to make this somewhere I could take with my, you know, kind of like with the get home bag, kind of like deal. I think this would be something like a good tool, maybe get home or no, just get you a light body chest rig, I guess.
I have one I keep in the home.
That's the same one I got.
It's like the minimal coverage one. I
Yeah.
typically keep one in my car. Then my son has one. It's like the smaller set too. This fits in perfectly, actually. So I think it's a viable, you know, thing to have. You know, something that's, especially now, the costs have come down so drastically over the last 2 years. Initially, I was not anti, but I was like, okay, you know, the human body can absorb a lot of punishment, this, that, and the other. And, you know, if you have a tourniquet or you can plug the wounds, but it's always better not to take the wounds or take the hits, especially in the vital area. So covering that A zone is something that to me is more valuable or right now, because you see a lot of increasing in home invasions, even here in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is usually a pretty calm place, but I think they said the murder rate's up 24%, violent crimes up about that same. So you're seeing more of it. So if you can afford it, why not be prepared? I know it's kind of expensive for some people, so it may not be the first thing you do, depending on your situation, of course, but it's something that's very valuable in your kit if you can afford it. So I agree, just having it.
Try AR-15. I think that's what Poindexter got here because he asked me as well when I first showed mine off. But I think at the time that I got mine right around Christmas, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, they was doing the plates, both of the plates, and the actual body armor for $100, which is the minimalist one that pretty much covers up your vital organs.
True. That is so true.
AR 500 armor, yeah. And that's where I got mine from. So AR 500, yeah.
That's it, Deborah. And it's light, man. I got it on just to, I'm at work, but I just like today I went to Walmart. I just put it on. I just don't buy it just for it to sit. I do every so in a while, pull it out and throw it on and maybe go somewhere. Like you see it, you couldn't even tell I had it on until I pulled my shirt up.
Yeah,
and that's how minimalist it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I do, since it's heavy, I put it on with my chest rig, and it fits really well under my chest rig. I'll put that on, and I've been shooting. Got me into getting on that treadmill, start doing my exercise. Doing my push-ups and my sit-ups. With that, I'm not sit-ups so much because it's hard on your back, but putting that on and doing your exercise, getting used to wearing it, and then finding those hot spots where it's rubbing, where it's cinching, where you don't have, ouch, just hit that hand, that increasing range of motion. I need to put that protector on.
And you can also wear them, and I did mine. Let me see if I get down in here. But I actually have padding under my headphone padding, and it's very comfortable with the headphone padding. And I bought them on Amazon cheap, for maybe I think like a set for like $20.
Yeah.
And it's very comfortable on the shoulders if you decide to do the headphones. Get you some headphones as well. And that's what I have mine.
Yeah, putting those plates in, like $2 said, your plate should be level 3 or better.
And that's what these are. And
mine's a 3.
Most rounds, it gives pretty good protection, of course. Level 4.
Yeah.
And then you come out level 5 is a little bit better, but most people that are coming in your home or situations you're going to encounter, that level 3 plus is going to be, adequate.
Just enough.
So.
And I'm like you, Poindex. I keep mine by my bed just in case I do have to get up and And I'm like I said, when I go out my house, go out my bedroom, my daughter is the first one to my left, and my son is farther down towards the front door, towards the left.
Yeah.
So I'm getting them acclimated to getting them up. Okay, I'm gonna have your mama come get your sister, and I'm gonna come straight to you.
Yeah.
So I go straight from, and my bathroom is on my right hand side, so I go straight to my bathroom, cattle quarter my gun, and then move over and holler for my son.
Yeah.
And go get him, and then I'll bag them in the room, and she'll protect the room, and I'll go out and figure out what's going on.
So how many bug out bags do you have for everybody?
See, and that's what I'm really trying to get into, because I don't know what to put in a bug out bag. I'm trying to get what size, and like this right here. I don't know if this, this is a small. I don't know if this, this ain't big, but I think it'll be a good for a bug out. I don't know how big a bug out bag should be.
Basically, you can go small, like do 3 days supply of, food, like put an MRE in there, because a lot of times you can stretch out, you can, your supply of your food, you can ration your food basically.
Okay.
If you're, just a day, and then 3 days, and then from there 3 weeks. So it depends. I try to go for like a 3 day.
Okay.
Food, water, medications, of course. If you have anybody who has specific medications, tailor their bag specifically for them. Make sure you
see my daughter, she got sensitive skin, so we'll have to.
Yeah.
She used to get like ointments because she gets certain stuff she can't use, like soap. Yeah. She gets a sensitive soap for her sensitive skin because she gets what's that? She gets real bumpy.
Like eczema, or she gets
I think that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Contact dermatitis or something like that.
Yeah,
from having those. My son's the same way since he was a baby. He's had extra sensitive skin. He's not so bad now, but we have to use non-scented soaps.
So
soaps don't have all that stuff. So knowing your needs, knowing what you need, is the hard part.
Okay.
The second thing is going out and getting it. Make sure you have on a minimum, 2 gallons of water per day per person. You can get by with less, but the problem is 90% of the people walking around every day, including me, are already working at a hydration deficit. They're already dehydrated. So, because most people aren't drinking 8 glasses of water a day, which we should. We really need to do that, because when you get out into a situation, you're working from behind. So get yourself hydrated and make sure your water, so you're not working from a deficit, because that puts you in danger of other problems with your kidney, problems with your heart. If you get an injury, it causes more problems down the line. So staying hydrated is very, very important. Don't start from behind. So, have those things. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have those. If I had to bug out, I may take 3 or 4 of these. I have some in the garage as well. Those 5-gallon containers. So I can you just go and buy from the store for $7.95, and have those ready to put in the back of your car or truck or vehicle, wherever. So that's like my strategy. Okay, get me a certain number of gallons of water depending on how far I'm going to go. I also have the larger containers that you can get in, that are collapsible, that you can fill up. Having you wrench so you can get access. What's that called? Been shooting the where you can open up different valves and stuff like that.
Your key lock.
4-way tool.
Yeah, so having that, having maybe multiples of those, having your toolkit. I like to have a multi tool. I have that like chest kit. I have one in the car, and you may want to put one in your bug out bag, or in each one of your. And you don't have to be the expensive ones. The one that I've had one for 25 years that I have still works perfectly, and that thing was dirt cheap. Just throwing those in, and you can get those. If you go to sometimes these discount stores and stuff like that, you can find the non-premium ones that you can use for that kind of stuff. And then if you want one that's heavy duty, heavy use, then get you, a Leatherman or something like that. So you don't have to break the bank. And that bug out bag builder is really, really good. It helps you go out and go through each step of what you need and how to build it.
Website here.
This
website here.
It's really a good site. That's a fantastic site. That's like, there's no excuse right now, because everybody has a different level of expertise, but that site walks you through it. They seem like they have really premium materials, premium things that they're using, building those kits with. So that's something that's really good. Same thing with your first aid kits. There are different levels. Depending on what you spend, maybe better or worse as far as level of quality level. But something is better than nothing. So get what you can get to get you a baseline, and then start building from there, tailoring your kit, buying, maybe higher premium, this, that, and the other. So the one thing you don't want to skimp on is tourniquets. Never skimp on tourniquets. Always go with reputable companies for your tourniquets, because they have those Chinese tourniquets that had a history of breaking and, being, just crap. So you don't want to get a situation where you're trying to tie somebody's artery off and that thing breaks. Now you're because every second counts. So tourniquets are one thing that I never ever skimp on. So you may pay a little bit more, but it's worth that price if you have to use it. Charlton, it was good. Anybody want to come in? Benjamin put the link out there. Dear Meat, you want to come in here, brother?
Now I think this right here, because my son is 11 and my daughter is 8. Mm-hmm. So a little bag like this would be probably perfect for them, right?
Yeah. A water. I like this type of thing because I can put it on my backpack, put it on my back, and be accessible. Has the mouthpiece that bite and it flows. You can also open it up and use it to rinse out wounds and stuff like that. So this is something that's portable. This is a 1.5 liter, and they have some that are bigger, smaller. It's easily, has modding on the front and back, and these are relatively inexpensive. And I see some of these on the side as well that Ben Juden was talking about. So this is one option. Some people use old school canteens, they're still viable to be able to carry. But have something, having something.
I got one of them on my heavy duty body plate carrier.
Yeah.
Then I got the book bag with the straw. It comes around. I got it.
Yeah.
As well on that one. I'm thinking about putting one on this one, getting another one all black and put it on this one just in case. But
Yeah, but just a little bit of everything, you know, having your first aid, having your medications, having, you know, if they have a communication device, having, I don't have it near me.
yeah, I got mine. Mine is on the
charger. Yeah, that definitely having your
Hey,
biofactory.
Ben, shoot, you got that one's got you have the extended battery on yours, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Okay, that's what I did. I bought one. I got the extended battery, and then on my book bag, on my heavy duty plate carrier, I got the original one that came with it when I bought it. So just in case anything happened, I have two batteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and these are relatively inexpensive.
Oh yeah.
These are power.
Yeah.
You charge them up. They can be USB charged. So if you have an emergency radio, like you know, I have in my bag, they can be recharged. But you can recharge your phones, other devices, at least like 3 times just with the battery cell.
Yeah, I got a red one.
At least 1 or 2 of these are really come in handy because it extends the life of all your devices, and you can just throw them in the bag. So most kids have a phone. You know, you want to have them maybe to be entertained. The biggest thing with the phones is it doesn't do any good if you don't have Wi-Fi, you know, access. Yeah. So download stuff on there. You know, literally sit down. You know, maybe take a Saturday and download some ebooks, some audiobooks, some to entertain them, games. You know, educational games for yourself. Download some map applications. There's some really good map applications. First aid applications. There's some really good ones that give you a basic understanding of, you know, first aid and how to proceed. So get those things on a digital platform so you have multiple access to them. And I carry backups of those in my chest rig. I have 3 devices, old phones, but all I have in there is all my medical stuff, for my EMT stuff. I have all my map reading stuff. I have like maps that I've saved in my application and put them on there of the local area in Texas and stuff like that. So, you know, use those devices, you know, over and over again. It extends the life of them and gives you, you know, multiple ways to carry and have information outside of just a hard copy. So, you have to kind of sit down, just put your mind to it and say, oh, I can put this on there. I can put, then you have all that stuff digitally. And you can just put it, you know, wrap it up in a, what is it called? The device that keeps EMPs or whatever. Put it in a Faraday bag or something like that. Kind of protects in a waterproof bag.
A waterproof bag.
Yeah. So. Make sure, like I said, check out their website that we put up because that website will show you also first aid items too. Closures and hygiene and everything.
And that's the big thing, you know, when you're out there, you just can't, you know, not have that hygiene. So again, on my bags, I have hand sanitizer wipes. Then I have, the little bath wipes that you can use because that's going to be valuable. So, go in the store. Every time I go in the store, they have them a 6-pack for like $4. I buy it, just throw one in my bag. So I always have those that you put in the bag because that's going to be something you need to do. Skin and hygiene is going to be really important, not only because, you don't want wounds and stuff like that getting infected. That can take you out if you get a wound that's infected. But also, you don't want people being able to smell you and giving your location away. And that's a big thing, When you're in a situation, that's sense of smell gets heightened, not only for human beings, but for animals as well. So, hygiene is very, very important. Get your, your toothbrushes and stuff like that. Have a little kit in there in a plastic bag. Have that in there with the toothpaste. So just throw that stuff in the bag. You can get them at the dollar store.
I'm about to say, so you go more like travel size when you
small and easily something to easily throw in the bag and just boom, put in there, but just having it, so it doesn't take up a lot of room because space and weight is always, important if you have to, especially after you get out and on foot. So
more like travel size.
Yeah.
Hey, Siege.
What's up, Siege?
So it's very, very important. I'm just putting on my my brace here, so excuse me. And then my wrap, because I don't want to bang this again. Get myself here.
Oh yeah.
that like pulse going through your hand.
Yeah, I just hit it just now.
Yeah. That thing about to explode.
Just remember that your get home bag is basically you have hours of intervals that you have to look at your bags. you know, the bug out bag, you have your get home bag. All these items have a, you know, whatever you want to level off to getting started. You know, because
Now, when you say get home bag,
yeah,
now let me try to get the distinction between a bug out and a get home. What's the distinction between the two?
bug out bag is like 72 hours. A get home bag is like 12 or 24, depending on what you want to
Okay.
do. Yeah.
12,
Bug
Something
out bag
like,
is, yeah, something light that you
yeah.
put in your bag daily, you know, put in your vehicle.
Okay.
And let me go grab mine. Let me see right quick.
You know, it's like this week, since it was kind of cold down here in Texas, I added a couple extra things in my get home bag, so in case I had to walk. So I had, you know, I put a liter bottle of water in there. I put, you know, extra survival blanket in there. Put some, you know, some socks in case, you know, it was got extra cold and I had to get out and walk. Of course, I always keep, you know, my shoes or boots, you know, in the back of my car as well. So you
Okay.
tailor that, you know, as you need for the
Okay,
season.
that's a small bag. Okay, I see what you're saying. Sure.
It's not anything big, yeah.
Yeah.
That's your Primatine Mist. You got your binoculars.
I always have one of these in my bag, regardless, because multi-purpose. I can recharge stuff. I can use stuff. Has my flashlight. Has NOAA on there, so if you have a weather alert, you know you're able to get those type of things as well. You can, you know, signal has an alarm. So these things are
Light
really
straw. I got my solar power for my cell phones or walkie-talkies to charge up anything. Just throw it on top of the car to, you know, pull
Okay.
over and put it. I put it in back window.
Oh, and then okay. Yeah.
So this is, yeah, solar power.
How far do you live from where you work at, Skilly?
It's about a 20-minute, 30-minute drive on a good day.
Mile wise, how far?
Miles. Let me see. Let me do my location on my other phone.
30, so that if these 20 minutes, it'd be about, depending on area, it should be about 22 miles.
Yeah. So how long do you think it would take you to walk 22 miles, not in a straight line? Because typically, and here's what I tell people: how long is it going to take you to get home in a normal situation walking, versus how long when stuff is going crazy and you're trying to stay off the roads, you have to go a circuitous route. You know, you may not be able to stay on the main highways. How long is it going to take you to get there? And what are you going to need while you're out there? You're going to need to stay warm. You know, you're going to need to maybe have a little water hydration. You may want to have an MRE in your bag. That's what I put, an MRE or some kind of food source or bars that, you know, give you some energy or stuff like that. They have the energy packets that you can take. Got these things right here, little glucose packets. And I always tell people to keep these regardless, because if somebody has diabetes or having a insulin situation, you could take this and just rub on their gums. And that'll kind of get them out and then have them drink that. But having something that's going to be able to get you from your work, you know, do you know how to get? Do you know where the roads are? What's the best route? You know, understanding a lot of people don't even know how a secondary route to get to their home. And we see,
I know about 2 or 3 routes to get to the crib.
But the thing is, we see how our infrastructure is failing. We see bridges are falling down, and it's causing major disruptions in cities. So imagine if you have just one major thoroughfare to get to your house, and that bridge goes down, and you're in a major city, and 1 million people, 2 million people are trying to get to that same area. How are you going to get home? What's the best route? So you have to know and have those things in your bag, your toolkit. Have some rope. That was the one thing the guy where that bridge fell down. He had rope, and he had the ability to get, you know, down to the people because he had a 4x4 and get down to the people where that bridge fell down and get them out of that area. So it's just having some simple things available that you can use.
Yeah. Ammo and magazines. I stress it over and over. Ammo and magazines.
Yeah.
You can't never have enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Make sure that if you got ammo, you should have magazines. Because at the end of the day, who's going to be toting boxes of ammunition?
No.
So you got to look at, yeah, that's facts. You know, and you want to stay light as you can, light as you possible. And they have these new tactical little wagon type things they have at Academy. I think they're $99. I'm not sure, depending on the size of them. Instead of getting a shopping cart, you can have one of those you can wheel around. You know, just have yourself that, you know, you make plans and make a route that you can say, okay, I know how to drive here, but do I know how to walk here?
The big thing about walking is, you know, you have a new pair of shoes. Have you even worn them at all? Have you broken them in? You don't want to have, you know, a brand new pair of shoes that you're out there trying to walk 20 miles and it's killing your feet. It's putting blisters on your feet. It's, you know, that can take you out, you know.
Yeah.
Ben student can tell you about that. They teach you that in the service, you know, take care of your feet.
Oh yeah.
So have those shoes, and if you get a new pair, put the old pair in your truck or car or, you know, in another location. Always reuse what you have.
Oh yeah. And when it comes to survival, just make sure everybody in the house or where your location is prepared to grab a firearm and know what they're using. Yeah.
You don't want on-the-job training when it comes to that. That's not something you ever want to be doing for the first time. You know, when, you know, stuff's hitting the fan, your heart rate's 220, and, you know, your pants are full of, you know what. That's not something you want to be, you know, practicing for the first time. How do you clear, you know, they had something on ASP the other day, active self-protection, where this guy came in, they were, you know, outside of his home for like 15, 20 minutes. And he could see him, you know, going around the house to the side, this and that and the other. And he had an old PLC, you know, a real piss poor, like grease gun weapon. But they came in finally through the window and he said he fired like 2 or 3 times and the thing jammed.
Oh.
And he's like, you know, you can tell he wasn't very familiar with the firearm. He goes, yeah, I only got 2 or 3 shots off, but I would have got him if the thing hadn't jammed. And as he was talking, the reporter, you could see the magazine was still in the weapon and his finger was on the trigger. So he had like no trigger discipline, but you can tell he really wasn't prepared.
That's messed up. Yeah, my family.
You got to call it. So he really wasn't prepared. We have to be prepared, you know, for situations. So that, you know, you're never 100% prepared for something, but you don't want the first time that you even practiced it to be, you know, when the stuff is actually happening. So that's very important.
Yeah, my fly family, make sure you have seasonal items in Ziploc bags. So you don't have to pack 2 different types of bug out bags. It's just making sure that if you're in a little summer stuff, but make sure you have some thermals packed away. 1 item each of what you can have some on fall. You know, and all actuality, you should have less clothes.
Just got a phone call and it messed up my sound. I'll be right back.
Okay. Make sure you have less clothes. Make sure you have necessities to survive with. Like I tell people, you know, have your flashlights. Make sure you have your maps of the state that you're locating in. A compass. Learn how to use a compass. Let me see. I have wipes. Ammo. Let me see. There's a lot of things can go in your bag. It's depending on how you want to build your bag up. And, you know, bugoutbagbuilder.com, you can go there and see what levels of bags you can build and the duration of what you want to build. What's good? What's good with you? Yeah, like I said, I have my tourniquet I carry in here also.
Okay.
Like I said, in my everyday bag, I do because you have gloves, because you never know if you have to change your tire or whatever. You might have a flat or something, but this bag I carry on me. Now,
okay.
This bag also, you can have your weapon of choice in here too.
Okay.
Not just on the only one that you carry on your hip, you know, because push come to shove, you just got a backpack. You can put whatever you want in that backpack, but it's getting home. That's the main thing you want to get home. Because like a lot of people don't understand the scenario, you might be out and about when everything just, you know, go haywire. So maybe get home bag. Once that bag helps you get home, then you can get back to your bug out.
Bug out bag. Okay. Now I got you.
So that bags make sure you on the safe. You know, if you got walkie-talkies, have everybody, a family member, have a two-way radio, walkie-talkie. So that way you can keep up. If your kids are at school, you can put the cell down, the towers are down. They can pick up these two-way radios much better.
Okay, I got 2. I'm gonna get 2 more for the kids. Yeah. Okay. I got 2 already. I get 2 more for the kids.
Yeah. So you know, you want to have a family thing and a meetup place too. And that's hit the wire. Start giving them codes and passwords. You know, hey, you know, such and such. You know, cow jumped over the moon, whatever. That's going to tell them meet me here. This part, Dad's coming here, or vice versa. You know, things like that. You know, prepare them. You know.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So you just want to have a balanced plan when, you know, when you get out in the morning and stuff. A lot of people, like I said, man, panicking is crazy. You know, if people can do that on Black Friday, imagine with.
Man, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And like you said, my daughter's right around the corner. She at the elementary. My son is about a mile to 2 miles away at the middle school. So I can get her. It's just like you said, going to get him and having that bag to where if anything goes on, I'm able to.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing. You want to be able to get in and out and be ahead of the curve, be ahead of everybody else. Because if you're preparing to get, you know, ready to go get your kids this and that and the other, you don't have the stuff with you on you or having to look for food, water, or you know, look for your equipment. You're getting behind the curve. That's more and more people that are going to be out and panicking, this, that, and the other. You want to avoid those situations. So if you're trying to get home as quickly as possible, and then hopefully you're in a situation where you can bug in. Bugging in is always, at least to me, the first best option. It's if you're that safe, known situation, you know, you can secure it if you have, you know, all the proper things, this, that, and the other. So bugging in to me is always the best option. And I think they said if you can survive, like in a really bad situation, if it's like 2 or 3 weeks, after that first 2 or 3 weeks, things typically die down. You know, you're going to get past the horde, what they call the golden horde, people out there just, you know, panicking, this, that, and the other. So then you can start maybe getting out and thinking about getting to your bug out situation. But bugging in to me is always ideal. So having those supplies on hand at home, and then if home becomes compromised, maybe having a secondary. You know, you can talk about, you know, a stash area, having other areas where you have equipment. You know, it may not be as much because, you know, but at least you have something. And like all the weapons that I have, all the ammo I know if I have to bug out, I'm not carrying all this stuff. You know, I have an optimized kit that I'm going to put together or use that I have for whatever situation that I think may be out there, and carry that because I can't carry it all. So it's going to be very important to know, you know, that I have those things available, and knowing kind of some idea of what I'm preparing for when I plan to bug out, and having a plan, you know, having people I can talk to. So if I get up to the Tennessee area, hey, I can get in touch with Ben Shooting, you know, because that's, you know, a prime area to be when you look at shit hit the fan type of scenarios. They have sites that, you know, rate where are the best areas to be. And Tennessee's like a prime area because it has food, water, it has relatively mild climate, you know, it has, you know, 50% forestry. So you have access to a lot of different things that you can get to and need in a survival situation. So,
and don't forget tents. Go out and get you a tent.
And put it up.
Yeah,
use
it. A good tent. I picked up one that it's, you know, I can sleep 3 for like $30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A good sleeping bag, you know, that's, you know, and knowing your area. If you know, you're going to be in a super cold area, they have some that are rated better, but a good sleeping bag is, to me, is always a good investment. You know, when we had that freeze last year, and the power was out for what, 3 or 4 days.
How about that? Yeah, I was down for a minute.
It got cold, you know. So
get some of that bear spray too. That spray, dog spray and bear spray. In case you have to go camp, you know, you have to camp out under your tent. You got to spray a perimeter.
And that's another thing I keep in my bug out bag and my get home bag as well, and always on my person and in my car. OC spray, either bear spray or OC spray, because you never know when you're going to do that. That's the least lethal.
People,
You should always have always have that, right by
my
me,
keys, on my car keys.
my keys, and have your family, if they have, have it. Hey, where is it? How come it's not with you? How come you're not carrying it? Have them go out in the backyard and spray it. See how it sprays. And, you should be testing that stuff out as well. And know that when you walk outside, if the wind is blowing in your face, you don't spray it.
Don't spray it.
And this is a motto too. If you don't have a house, you're living in an apartment like I am, have places where you can understand, have a storage unit where you can store stuff, and make sure you have a plan set for that. In a house, you have a certain section of the house where you can plan, okay, this is where we're going to bunk out. The rest of the house is where we're going to cut off and make sure we know who's going to try to come through. So, just have your fort, build your fortress.
Yeah. Have your, your tarps and your plastic that you can go and get that stuff for inexpensive and put it up with, painter's tape. You can section off your areas of your house and save heat, conserve heat and stuff like that. Make yourself a smaller ecosystem. That's where you have your tent, even inside your house. You can wall off the windows with that tape and stuff, with the plastic and stuff like that. So get you some tarps. Every survival kit should have multiple tarps, and those things are dirt cheap. You go to the Army surplus store and get those things, or any of these stores. Get you 3 or 4 tarps you can use, for a lot of different things, even when you're out and about, building shelter and stuff like that. So it's, relatively inexpensive and has multiple functions. So
and make sure, like I say, when you come outside, walk around your vehicle, make sure look out, make sure that everything's okay. Nobody's trying to put a tack on your tires or anything like that. You just make sure. There you go.
I have this that I use not only in and under my car, but when I go to like a new hotel or apartment or something like that, where I used to do executive security. You can look up behind vents, up on shelves and stuff like that. You look under your car and see if there's anything that's hanging down. Even if it's like for general maintenance, you can see, under your car, maybe you ran over something and, got something loose. So having a way, look at, and even around the corner, I could, use it.
Because like when y'all go to hotels, you make sure you got this light, so I can make sure everything's clean. Check the seat and everything. This light here shows you everything.
Oh, that's a fluorescent light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And make sure everything's legit. You look on the floor and check everything, making sure your room is not a crime scene when you go into it.
Maybe the most important cure-all type of medicine to pack, like aspirin. Well, aspirin. You see my fly family's question?
Yeah, right here.
Did we get it? Okay, I must have missed that when I was off. Yeah, aspirin is one thing, that is underused, especially for, we're not medical professionals, but for heart attacks, just giving, half a tablet of that can prevent somebody from expiring or having a serious incident. Of course, if you have other issues with blood clotting, you want to be careful with that. But for me, it's, having just a lot of the basics. I always talk about antibiotic ointment. One of the biggest things is infections from cuts. One of the biggest things that happen to people when they're out and about, corneal abrasions. They're out in bush or this and the dirt gets in their eye and they rub their eyes, so you get a corneal abrasion. That can lead to serious issues. So if you go out and you buy ophthalmic ointment, you can use that ointment that you can actually use for your eye, and you would put an eye patch over it. Here is our eye patch here. Put an eye patch over it and tape it. That can prevent an infection. But you can also use that ophthalmic antibiotic for other wounds as well. So you kind of get like a 2-for-1. So I always tell people, if you're going to be buying that, get that ophthalmic ointment that you can use for your eye and other areas too. So you can kind of save some money there. So things for cuts, bruises, stuff like that. Of course, this week we talked about earlier, having 4x4s, having a supply of those. Those are dirt cheap. Just be able to dress a wound, have tape, different types of tape, 2 or 3 different kinds of tape, sizes of tape. Having yourself a good set of scissors. And I know it's not medication, but it kind of prevents you from having to use those medications. But any specific medications that you have, go to your doctor and get those things and put them in the kit. I always go, and I get a bronchodilator. I have a running prescription for this. So I have this, not so much for me, because I had a time where I was getting, you know, upper respiratory infections down here in Texas, but I use that as part of my medical kit because somebody who's an asthmatic or having some other serious thing, it's good to have, you know, that in your kit. You know.
Okay.
Like I said, we're not medical professionals, but
just have it on you.
a lot of simple preventative things help you from things where you need, you know, other higher grade medications like, you know, higher grade antibiotics or, you know, pain medications and stuff like that. You kind of have to, that's just the way I approach it. Tune your kit for yourself, make sure you have those medications, go to your doctor, spend the time saying, hey, I'm, you know, going to be moving or this, that, and the other. Can you write? And 9 times out of 10, they've been very, you know, ready to do that. Hey, I give you a running script so you can have, you know, 2 or 3 of these at all times. So, especially given nowadays, since people don't want to have to go to the doctor a lot, you don't have to do a lot of those outings and interactions with social distancing. So, take a little time. You know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to go to the doctor for that, but it saves you a lot of time and grief down the line. So let's see, what other meds do I always have?
No, it's not crazy how to hotwire a car, but I think these days they have modified it where I don't know. That's a good question.
If you can, that's a good skill. I mean,
older model cars I know, but these cars these days.
Or having, if you have like all my cars have been manual transmission, know that you can push and jumpstart that sucker.
Yeah.
That goes a long way. So if you roll up on a car and knowing how to drive, you know, a manual transmission, that's a great skill set. That may be a difference between life and death or getting out of the situation because you can't drive or, you know, I never practiced it. You can kind of.
Oh, yeah, they do got the black boxes on them a lot now.
Yeah.
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 But, you know, definitely look for those or have those type of vehicles. I'm getting ready to get another 4x4, trade my car in for a 4x4 because it's just a little more practical if I'm going to be out and about to have something that has, you know, has that capability.
Battery powered generators.
And the prices on all this, those are coming down. If you go to a lot of these sites, you see that the price points, well, not cheap, are coming down. So again, you know, look at yourself, look at your budget. I know a lot of it seems overwhelming. Start with the simple stuff first. You know, have yourself a set of candles. You know, and you know that, you know, having yourself different types of candles can be used not only for light but heat sources. There's a lot of information on how to get out there, get you a terracotta type pot, put a candle under it, and basically that comes a really good heat source. But you always want to have extreme levels of safety whenever you do that, because fire is one of the biggest things that can, you know, take you out in a bug situation. So that said, fire extinguishers, you know, knowing where they are, how to use them. You know, I know Carbon talked about that carbon ball. I needed to get that ball, a huge ball, firefighting ball that you basically, anytime it gets heated, it explodes and sends the fire resistant material out. It kind of snuffs the fire out. So, but having a home safety kit as well, you know.
Respirators, gas masks, because you don't want to get smoked out in your own place.
And that's a thing I kind of picked up and stepped up on too, getting those I use the mirror ones. But you never know a situation where you may have to have some type of respirator or a gas mask type device or whatever kind of agent you may, whether it's, you know, biological, chemical, nuclear, whatever.
Yeah.
308.
Now you said you have with your get home bag and your bug out bag. Now you say you have your side firearm and you also have a bag firearm. Is they both the same firearm, or as far as your bag's firearm is the same as your get home and your bug out bag?
Well, my get home bag has actually that's separate from my EDC, the one I carry.
Okay.
So that's you should have always 2. You know what I'm saying? Load up, make sure, you know, because that's the way I roll with it. You know, if you go in there, if you transition from your get home bag now, before you grab your bug out, you want to make sure you have everything taken out of your get home bag.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. But you know, everyday carry, that's your EDB. I call it everyday bag.
Okay.
Your get home bag is your everyday bag. So that bag, you know, you can throw that in the trunk or you know, you're feeling comfortable.
Because when you say that, I was thinking more like for mine, I was thinking about maybe my strike bar being my get home bag gun, and then if I have to bug out, my AR-15 with the 7.5-inch barrel would be
Sure.
would be
Well,
my.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but like I'm saying, your get home bag should have, okay, you know, in mine, I just have it enough to fit in this size bags. Bag's not that big. You don't want nothing noticeable when you draw something out. You know what I'm saying? Because you know people gonna be panicking. The first thing they look at him, oh man, he got a rocket.
Big old bag.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you want to keep something that's not on you, because say you walk into a situation and law enforcement come up on you, they see that one on your hip. Okay, they can grab, they take that, and then you know they run off. Okay, you stuck out here with what? You know,
Okay, I see what you.
Yeah, there you go. They ain't worried about what's in your bag. They just see what's
Right,
on your hip.
what's on your hip. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You want to have that backup.
Okay.
Even if you got to get that Taurus and put it on your leg or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, more the merrier. You feel me? The more the merrier. Yeah. So
one of the things, medication-wise, not really medication, but if you're going to be out long-term and your dietary intake is going to be compromised, get you a good multivitamin. You know, get your kids multivitamin. Throw some of those things in your, you know, bug-out bags, because you know, being malnourished is going to be a possible issue. So make sure you have some of those things in your kit. I know one of the other things, it's not, again, medication, but one of the primary things you want to be able to do is stopping the bleed. So having, you know, a kit, this is like my primary medical kit that I carry each and everywhere. So I can put this on my belt. I can put this in my bag. I have multiple of these. I have one in my car, these small kits. I have one on my, you know, I keep on my my duty belt when I'm out and about. But having Quick Clot, and you can go to the store and having this. Of course, if you're applying the pressure and the window's still not, you know, closing up, you can add this once you, you know, kind of clean up the window, put that in there, and it has instructions on how to use that and put it on there. And you can get this at CVS or over the counter, and I think it's like for $5. It may have been like $15-20. So having that in your kit and available. So that's one thing. And taking a stop the bleed course, I think that goes a long way. If you can keep the blood in a person, you know, and that's going to be beneficial for their long-term safety and recovery. So having a tourniquet, this is a cat tourniquet, having it and being able to use it, practicing on yourself, you know, to be able to use that, taking a stop the bleed class, of course, is always something that, you know, you spend a couple hours on a Saturday or whatever day of the week, get out there, do it, and know how to, you know, do those things and carry them with you everywhere. Having these kits, putting them together, you can either go out and buy them pre-made or customizing it, you know, for what you think is important. So I think it's kind of something that's kind of quick and easy, because most of the times we're going to have a situation that it's usually like a traumatic type injury that we're talking about, that we're responding to.
Yeah, I'm not from this planet. Thank you for the info on full face mask. Thank you for the info.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up and see. I'm gonna go get 4 of those.
Yeah, those. Yeah, because like I said, when shit hit when mess hits the fan, you really want to have yourself that you have the mask, because you don't know who's outside. It's a panic purge. They're trying to smoke people out. You know, you don't know what's going on. Is it a real fire next door? Or are they just trying to smoke us out, you know, for supplies? So you just have to keep your head, you know, on a swivel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was looking at I was thinking about getting electrical, but I found this hot plate where you can use either what is it? Map gas or either propane.
Yeah,
Look
butane.
it on the
Yeah,
side. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. Like $40 on Amazon, man. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna get that.
They're 30 something, and the butane ones are 30 something if you go to Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like just a can like this that goes inside
Yep,
of it.
on the side. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's something, yeah, a lot of people, make sure you get that in that tent. Get you a nice tent. Just have all your stuff, like people looked at me when I was going to hunting gear. They said, what are you hunting? No, I'm getting survival stuff. Because I want to be up in the woods blending in. You know what I'm saying? Ain't me walking out there. You got a FUBU jacket on that's neon. I ain't gonna be running up nobody's woods.
Right.
Trying to blend in with the atmosphere.
Skilly, I know you were talking about radios, I think, before. Do you have a Baofeng?
Yeah, I end up getting with Carbon. Carbon ended up sending me some stuff on Amazon. I ended up buying it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, did you get it programmed yet, or have you gone to any of the sites yet?
No, you know what? Y'all was discussing at the last, not this live, but who live was that? We was talking about that stuff. Yeah. Hookah was telling me.
Yeah. You want to go to that site, radioreference.com, and they have all that information for your local area, the databases for NOAA and some of the other channels, like for the police, fire department. They have all those channels that you can pre-program into your device, so that you can already have that on there. So that's like NOAA local, but you want to get that information, because then that way you're not out there trying to figure out, okay, how do I even find somebody? Because you can do the scan mode. But the problem when you do the scan mode is going through all those channels. If they're not broadcasting specifically at that time, you're going to waste time going through all those darn channels. So you want to know where the fire department, in which area. So they have break it down to county, city. They have local emergency services on those lists that you can go to and get all that information. And they're specific. They have a map. You just basically click on the map. It tells you what's in your area, and go. So that's a really, really good resource. So have your communication, staged and ready in advance. So, because you don't want to be doing it at the last minute. And the thing is, when we're prepped, we're avoiding all the panic stuff. We're not going to the stores, putting ourselves in danger, trying to get food, water. We're chilling, or either we're bugging out, we're getting out away from it. So being prepared buys you that time.
Come on. They got the Detroit right here. It got Frequency County, Macomb, Michigan, Wayne, Michigan.
Yeah, so you can click on those counties wherever you are. It should have a list of whatever agency.
Yeah, it'll show you which county, what numbers from 1 through 9.
Yeah. Airports, it has the airports, it has all the other
aircraft. Okay.
Yeah. So that's stuff that you want to have in advance already programmed, and you can do it by channel or frequency. And there's that CHIRP program, CHIRP, is like a quick way to go in and make sure you have your cable. And like I said last week, the thing is with that cable that they give you, there is an issue, a known issue, that it doesn't quite sit flush with the device. It kind of pokes out, so it may not read. You're plugging it into your radio. It doesn't quite sit flat, so you may have to either drumble down the edge, or just get a knife and kind of whittle it down a little bit so it sits, and then it works perfectly. And you can go in, you plug it into your computer, it accesses through USB.
Okay.
You can download all that information right into a sheet. It makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's called CHIRP. There may be some things where you have to figure out which comm channel it communicates on, but it's fairly seamless and pretty easy to program these things. So get that stuff in advance. You don't want to.
Yours come with a manual?
Yeah, it does. It did come with a manual when I bought it.
Okay. Because I know you got a home and travel mode on there also. That's good for NOAA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then having backups to the backup. Again, you have that, but also have your radio that has NOAA channels and stuff on there, so you can listen. It's just like you can listen on this, broadcast on this, but you always want to have backups, and you want to optimize leverage all of your equipment should be able to do at least two things. Everything I buy, I try to make sure that it's able to do at least two things. I don't want something that only does one thing. I want something that does at least two things fairly well. So this has, your radio, again, your light. It can charge USB. So I have a backup USB charger. It can charge this so I can charge other devices. It has, multiple has of course, your backup compass.
Yeah.
It has just a lot of different functionalities. So optimize and leverage your items. And so when you're looking at something, that means you don't have to carry two of something. You just have one thing that does all that stuff. That's less weight that you have to, in space. So that's kind of the fun part for me, is seeing how well I can optimize and do that stuff. And then having information. I always keep going back to this, but if you have somebody who may not be familiar with some of those things, or you don't have it, or you're trying to share information with people, you have these little quick things like for emergency first aid, for field dressing, for flowers and plants, medicinal plants that you can buy, and they sell these like at the local store, emergency first aid. So I could sit and talk about that stuff, but you can have this and share it. It's laminated, so it can it's waterproof. You can take it out there and has a lot of good information in a small form factor. So not only do you have it digitally on your backup devices, you have it, physically, where you can, share it, post it up, say you're at a camp or something like that. And, you can have this like your central library and have all this stuff, there that people can take a look at it. And, so, and of course, like you guys said before, mats are always good. So just, take advantage of what's out there. There's so much stuff that's out there and relatively inexpensive. And just figure out where you are and what you want to do every week. Just spend, $10, $15 if you can, or every 2 weeks, or even once a month. So, you go out and you buy, one of these, and then you go out and you buy, use some medical tape, and you go out and buy, maybe a charger, and that goes a long way. So you can just go down your list, make a list, check it twice, find out if you're nice.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, it's fun because, especially since, people who like to organize things and stuff like that. I'm sure like she likes things organized and stuff like that. So get out there and you can just be surprised how far you can go with it and how much fun it is.
Yeah, this is the solar panel thing. The power charges in here.
Oh, okay.
The 5V, I believe it is. Siege.
Yeah. UV 5R.
Yeah. And this is the one that's like for $25-$30 at on Amazon. And there's a couple of great websites. If you do a search, let me see if I can look at my search history. There's a guy that he goes out and he talks about, each and everything that you can do with those. Apparently on the older models, I can't do it on mine, but the older models, he showed a hack where you can actually do GPRS on these Baofengs.
Yeah.
And mine has a newer chipset, but on the older chipsets, you can actually do GPRS on these Baofengs, which is kind of cool. But there's, again, tons of information that's out there. We're really in the information age right now.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see, what was that guy?
Make sure you have your secured USB, all your passwords, information that you need to roll with, W-2 forms, birth certificate, everything that you need. Just find your nice USB. It doesn't have to be like this. I prefer that, I can match the numbers on it. Makes it feel important, but just have all your information, personal information. Just in case you get somewhere and they're like, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, you got everything on this information, this.
That's a good tip, because they're going to be asking, how do we know who you are? How do we know,
medical records, all that, your kids and everything.
So you have all those, a quick and easy place where you can access them. So that's a really, really good tip. We don't kind of think about those things, especially if we have to bug out somewhere. We're leaving all that stuff behind, the paper copies of all that stuff.
You got passports, you got birth certificates, all that stuff, put it in a plastic bag. This here is for, if somebody's saying, okay, we want proof. Well, I got it here. Okay. Then, they're not real if, they don't take it. But if you got your paperwork, that's your last thing you want to show, unless you're trying to get on a military installation. Then you show that. But if somebody comes up and say, hey, who are you? I got it on here. You want the information? Oh, no. Okay, all right. You full of it. You're just testing the people that's gonna try to test you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Trying to find that site. Can't find it.
Where is it? Hold on. I'm looking for it here also. This is another one device that I use. ITs normally use this right here. It's called a lock and key. It's a dongle.
Yeah.
So you walk away, like you're at work right now, you walk away from your computer, can't nobody hit a key or anything while till you log in. It's called a gatekeeper. Wireless lock and key for your computer. I'll put it down here. Let me see. Yeah, put this down here.
Okay, that site that has all the good information on the radios, ham radios, is not NOTA Rubicon Productions. It's on YouTube. Not a Rubicon Productions. He has a lot of good information on the radios, what they are, what they aren't, and recommendations for, how to use them, when to use them, pros and cons, programming and stuff like that. So really, really good site.
Shout out to House of Siege for buying her Bofang.
There you go. Get it, use it. Yeah. It's just another good tool, Truth and integrity. What's up?
So true.
Canadian Prepper talks about that a lot too. I don't know if people follow Canadian Prepper, but he has a lot of good information and it's kind of plugged in. Of course, there's a lot of other good sites as well. So
Erica Miles, yeah, she probably did get it off Amazon. You can get them off Amazon for about, like I said, between 20 to about $30. And not expensive. I think I got the push walkie-talkie thing. And I got the extra long battery, I think for under like $40 for all of it. And I got a longer antenna too. I got the antenna that folds up like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
You want to strap it and it goes, it's kind of high.
Yeah, extra long battery,
Yeah, like the military. Flat military. Yeah.
One of the things, be careful when you get those radios. Okay, everybody, I don't know if everybody knows, but these unplug or unscrew.
You
never want to have this thing turn on and putting your fingers or hands here. You can literally get burned. You get damaged to these because it's, putting out some energy. So you never mess around with this device on with the antenna off. So that's just a safety tip. You don't want to do that. Always keep that antenna on. If it's off, you don't want the device on and having your hands anywhere near that area. So anytime you're changing that antenna, make sure it's off. And I think I got a bundle with like the big antenna and 2 of these for like dirt cheap. So yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I got the extra long antenna, the extended battery. The one, instead of you talking into it, it's almost like the police when they hit they thing to talk. I got that.
That's
and I think I got everything for under $50.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So you can damage the superconductor too. So keep that antenna on and be safe.
Get your green light. So that way you don't draw attention to yourself.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I got somewhere to start.
Oh yeah. We here to help you, bro. That's all we do, man. Survival Saturdays.
And never stop. Always, adjusting and testing, and because sometimes things change, sometimes better stuff comes out, sometimes your needs change. As we get maybe younger or older, you may have other things that can need to be taken care of. So you're always in a state of constantly assessing what you have, where you are, and what you're going to need. So that's kind of an exciting part because it's not so boring or static. You're always, and even if you never use it for stuff hitting the fan, you use it for your finger hitting the,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, think about it. You was survival. You had your stuff ready.
Yeah. So, always being ready.
Because that ambulance ride, what is it, about 12?
Yeah.
1,200.
Use some money for on that. I'm not,
About $1 grand.
on that. So just being prepared, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to have to use our firearms in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But we're always going to have some kind of medical or other type of situation we may have to. We may be without water, we may be without access to food. So if you have stuff in your cabinet, you have stuff, on you, you're driving home, you have an MRE package in your bag, you get stuck on the highway, you're good. You have a bottle of water, you're good. Whereas other people, you have a blanket, you're warm, you got food, you got water, you got entertainment, and your little device that you have on there, you're good to go. So it's just a smart thing to do, be prepared for those eventualities.
Good gracious.
2,500 for a ride?
Yeah, for a ride.
Yeah, 4 figures, man.
Yeah. So save yourself some money. That's one of those snob guns, right? 2,500.
Yeah, that's that ride, man. That ride that take you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's that high energy, but they do have. I don't have my flashlight. I actually have a plasma.
Radio wave burn
flashlight. That's a good question, though, Billy.
No,
I actually put a map gas, bottle of map gas, and an actual torch in my bag as well, because I work here in Park, so they got stuff all the time. So nice size bottle of map gas and a torch head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always carry me them waterproof and windproof matches, man. You can get these from Wally World, Academy, any sports goods store.
Yeah, got more than one way to set a fire. Have all that. Yeah. It doesn't take up much space in your bag. Buy you a couple of quick lighters. That works every time, all the time. So have those things.
Five starters. Oh yeah.
Throw those things in your kids' bag. If they're a certain age, of course.
Look like this.
Oh, little pieces. Okay.
Yeah, they bought sawdust. That's all it is.
Old school, what we used to do is take
sawdust. Go out there with somebody building a house and get you a bunch of sawdust and ball it up. Just put it in a little bag.
Vaseline cotton balls. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways. The other thing too,
so I could probably get some Vaseline, get some cotton balls, and put it, and that's almost like a kit, fire starting kit.
Yeah.
This is a good fire starter too. Duct tape is a very good fire starter. So if you ever have extra, you take it off something, take that and save that. You can use that. Shred it. It starts a fire very well, very combustible.
Yeah, it's like when you go camping. I tell a lot of people, they don't show you on TV, but you have to spray your perimeter where you put your tent up.
Always, yeah.
They don't tell you that. You see them camping. Oh yeah, they camping. Ain't no bears, no nothing coming up on here. Spray the perimeter. You going out there, just prop up, tent up, just walk up on you. Yeah. You're gonna spray that place, man. Just safety first. What did he say? Who said that?
Very combustible. Yeah, that stuff lights up like nothing. That's excellent.
And a lot of that come out yearly.
Yeah. In fact, you have to be careful with that because there have been fires that have started in people's home when they didn't clear up the dust and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's very combustible.
That is so true, man.
So there's always ways to find a way around anything. A lot of times, people's ingenuity is just amazing. You could always find a way to get stuff done. So that's why we like to have talks because, stuff like that comes out. Yeah. People are sharing stuff. It's like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know this. So, we have to start sharing this stuff because when stuff hits the fan, we're going to have to depend on, people at some point. You can't be Rambo out there by yourself. Yeah. Unfortunately, I saw a video yesterday about this lady that got eaten by a bear. Not good.
Yeah. That's why they tell you, get your bear spray, get the strongest thing you can get, because once you spray your perimeter, anything come up, that's what their nose gonna hit first.
Yeah, they're gonna smell before they do anything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that, learned a while back. I was like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Oh yeah, okay.
Bear spray and a good 10 millimeter.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. That is so true, man.
I got that Chris Vector, either my Glock 29.
Oh yeah, yeah. As long as you got a bag for it, man. As long as you got a bag that's capable of carrying and everything like that. But like I said, you're never unlimited when you get magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because who wants to be sitting there unless you got a loader? Unless you pick one of the family members and their job is just load.
Low.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
you good.
great.
You good. You got that one person, just load, So yeah, that's it, man. Man.
Everybody's going to have a job. That's the thing. You want to teach, the responsibility, have a, emergency plan in your home. If something happens, my son knows, he goes in this closet, he has his little 22. He has his, and we have a code word, that if anybody comes up through that door without the code word, that's where you just, do what you have to do. But,
Yeah.
Knowing that if he hears a sound, don't come looking for me. I'm going to be coming looking for him. I'm going to be trying to secure and make sure that, the house is secure and they don't get to him. So, but having those thoughts and ideas and talks, same thing with fire, having a fire plan. Okay, if a fire breaks out, what do you do? How do you get out of the house? Where do we meet up outside? Don't go looking for me or, your mom or your brother or your sister. Get out of the house. That's important. Get to safety first and we meet up there. So having these talks is important. Sometimes we think, oh, stuff will never happen or they're too young. They're never too young. They've had incidents where, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old knew some CPR, knew how to call 911, or knew how to do certain things that saved somebody's life. So, we owe it to ourselves and our kids to, talk about this stuff, teach it, and practice it too,
And like I said, before you lay down, check around. That's mean doors and windows. Always remember that.
Yeah. Somebody may be setting you up. They may have tampered, with your window, may have taken the screen off. But if you never look outside, never look out your window, you don't even know that you're about to get got. So being aware, being alert, know your surroundings, know your friends, know your enemies, know what's going on, be aware.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question, Paris. I have that version right there, the UV5R.
Yeah, UV5R, yes.
Yes. What's that? Need a rope ladder for the house? Yeah.
They must have an upstairs. Yeah, my house I don't have. I have the basement and the main.
Okay.
So I don't have an upstairs in my home.
That's good to know. That is good to know. I mean, even if you got 550 cord with knots, you can still go down. You can train. Yeah.
And the thing is, like we stay, Vince, when you say you stay in an apartment, so do I. We can be careful, but if your neighbor isn't careful, that could end up burning your place down. And then what do? What's your plan of evacuation? Are you going to be running back in and trying to get out your Chris Vector, or are you going to be trying to, get out the door?
I'm out the door.
This mother about to stove.
In a safe. It burned up.
Full fire up in here.
So prioritize, accordingly. Have a plan, like I said, have a safe. Have some insurance. So you can afford to lose that stuff, because that stuff is just stuff. The important thing is getting you and your family to safety, because stuff can be replaced. So get that insurance. And have a plan.
Yeah. Yes. Bear spray and rope ladder on her list.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, them things like that, items like that, just start grabbing them. Every time you're out and about, because you'd be amazed how cheap they are. And then
I think I'm gonna start doing that. Taking $20 out of each check and just go get little stuff.
Just a little something, I'll get you, one of the things I like to do, like they even have that talked about bleeding control. They have this bleeding control spray. So if you're building your kit, you go down the aisles, up and down the aisles in your local pharmacy, pick you up some 4x4s, pick you up, some Q-tips, put these in the bag. I don't carry this around, but you can get you those water refillable bags, a quart bag or a gallon bag. I use those like crazy and make like mini kits and put stuff together. So I have my tools in one bag. I have my wraps and dressings in another bag, and you can just throw those in, make multiple kits of those, and throw them in, each one of your kids' kits or your, your home or your bug out bag, and so you can scale those appropriately and put those important items or items you're going to need in there appropriately. So there's so much you can do. It doesn't take much, like you said, $20. You can go out and get a lot, and you look up, 3 or 4 months, a year later, you'll be like, dang, look at all this I have. So,
yeah, and make sure that you get also, this is important for everybody. Make sure once you get a gun safe that it's insurance compatible. When I say that, make sure your insurance company is saying, okay, this is the one you should be getting. Don't go out and try to buy, hey, I got a safe, man, for $299. Yeah, you might not get insurance for that.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure, just make sure what insurance company covers works safe.
That's one thing I like to do a talk on, or have somebody talk more about that, because I know the different levels of insurance. I know Siege is pretty good with that, but knowing what's needed, what's not needed, what's covered, what's not covered, that could be daunting. If you're not an expert in that kind of stuff or have experience with it, it kind of gets overwhelming. And what happens with us a lot of times, the stuff is overwhelming. We just don't act on it. It's all, I'm not going to even look at that right now. So, but it's stuff that we have to do because we spend a lot of money on our, weapons, our firearms, the stuff in our home. We, love and want to protect our families as well. So we need to know, have those insurances there for, in case something does happen. So we're not in a situation where we're financially, in a bind or whatever. So it's important. That's part of our survival.
Yeah, because I was up in, I think it was Academy, and it was a year ago, and I heard somebody talking about, well, is this insured? Can my insurance cover this and that? And they were really picking the poor guy apart. He didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
He was young. He was like, well, I go get somebody else. Then it was like 2 or 3, and this person was just drilling, saying, is this waterproof? Is this, haphazardous? Can I put it here? They were just asking question after question after question. And one guy came out and said, yeah, this one here is good. This one here, now, what category and class type of safe that you have. The guy was looking like, I don't know what type it is. It's just a gun safe. It's like, so you get those people that's prepared, you know what I'm saying? They come in and drill the person, but, that guy knew what he was talking about. He shouldn't have did him like that. But, it's something. I'm sitting in the corner. I'm ear hustling like I don't know what, I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. I was going to go for the cheapest thing. Go for a file cabinet.
That's what I started with, a file cabinet type locker type.
With some zip ties,
And I ended up going to I think mine ended up costing almost $600 for it. $2,400, $600.
Oh yeah. You good. Like I
got
said,
reinforcing bars that come through. So.
And on that same note, we have to do our due diligence. I know Tactical Tangerine had the book where you can go and write down all your firearms and the serial numbers and all that stuff. So,
do anybody know? She said you can go to that site. I need to grab one of them books.
Annotating, having documentation. So when they come in and start drilling you on this, that, and the other, you have all that documented. And then back that up electronically. So you can say, yeah, I can prove here's the serial numbers, here's this, that, and the other. So just have all that stuff. Do the work up front, so you're not just trying to, oh gosh, when did I buy that? Or what did I have? Or, how can I prove this? Just do some of that work up front.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you can get a gun book off Amazon. What would it be called? Okay. Yeah.
I think they call it like a gun log.
Yeah.
Gun log book.
Yeah, you can get them. Yeah, you can get one of those. I think it's any kind of log. You can get a ledger. Write it in. But like I said, and also, man, some of the places where you purchase those, they will have a list too.
Yeah, that's true.
Places, I say, hey, man, can I get a list of what I purchased? What's your name? They pull it up because they have to have it on file.
That's a good. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you can go back and get that from them. Have them do that work. Yeah.
I got 8 of mine. I was looking like, oh wow, I didn't know I bought that many. Oh. Yeah. That's good to know, man. Oh, there it is. Fire. Put it right here.
Okay, firearm law.
There you go.
So
Do an inventory on your stuff.
Yeah, you got
Like you do in the military, you gotta take temperature checks and stuff. Open up the safe and look at it, the ammunition. That's good to know, man. But hey, that's what we're here for, man. For the news, you know what I'm saying? Getting everybody prepared, yeah. But once again, we did it, man. Once again, people.
Appreciate everybody in the chat. Very official.
Yeah.
In here. $2 came up in here. Of course, we got Siege.
Yeah. My Fly Family.
Truth and Integrity. Appreciate you guys.
Official.
Nola Saint. Yeah.
Parrot's Eye. Double Row.
I'm not from this planet.
Integrity.
No.
Nola Saint.
What? Up in here. I didn't say hi. How you doing, brother? No,
Yeah,
the thing is, just I know a lot of people kind of get overwhelmed. Even me, I get overwhelmed on some subjects at sometimes, but it's just making that slow, steady progress. Starting somewhere is always, and making that first move. Just buying your first thing. And say, okay, I got this. I can check that off. I can check this off. That's the important part. Making that progress, because stuff may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen the next day. But if you're starting to prepare now, you're that far ahead of the game. You don't want, I always emphasize, you don't want to be having to go to the store when after stuff hits the fan. Because that's going to be the place of the most danger. Everybody's going to be fighting for resources, fighting for food, fighting for water. You want to be as far away from that as you can, chilling up at home or already on the road, heading out of town. So it just buys you so much time, buys you safety, buys you time to get with your family and, meet up and, decide what your next steps are, not, what my first steps are, just try to get the basics. So, a lot of times it seems like it's, over, we're worrying about stuff that may not happen, which is true. We're just being paranoid, but history shows you, even regionally or in your city or in your, on your block, stuff happens all the time. So why not be, that person that's ready? Because you can also be that person can help somebody else. If you're ready and somebody else isn't, and you have the ability, you can help that person,
Oh, yeah.
So that's just how I look at it.
That's the way it is. Take time. Hey, Skill, you got anything coming up this week you want to put out to the people?
Tomorrow, we're gonna have a real interesting topic. We're actually gonna go 30 minutes early than usual.
Okay.
I am gonna have my Five Family Billy on tomorrow.
There you go.
I did that the other day, and we had a good discussion. So we figured that what we gonna touch on is we gonna run over an hour. So I booked it up to 5:30 Eastern time, rather than 6 like I usually do. And we're gonna have a good time, top it up, and I think I did it as how did I do it? Is body language and the power words affected the day, or it's something like that. So we dealing with that, and it's a piggyback off of Wild Wild Wednesday when they had a conversation, and it kind of pulled me in that direction. So we're gonna talk about body language in your language, and how, so it's gonna be interesting.
It should be, yes, definitely. Can't wait to see it. I'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there, most definitely.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through, bro. Doors always open, bro.
Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it.
Man. Yeah. We come in, like I said, Survival Saturday. Every day is a survival. We just pick Saturday, Saturday to talk about it.
Well, I learned a lot of stuff today, and I got a quite to go pick up. So I'm looking forward to doing a little shopping and getting a little stuff.
Yeah, hit me during the week, man. I mean, I'm on IG and everything. Just let me know.
Same. Anybody, please hit me up. Chop it up.
Me, Poindexter, Carbon Q,
definitely.
IG. Everybody's on IG.
all about dialogue and sharing. You know, we're not trying to hold on to nothing. So, and we're always also learning from everybody. Everybody's learning. So it's good because, you know, we may know things, but we have to maybe sometimes question is that the best way to do that? Or is there a better, you know?
And like I tell a lot of people, man, I'm always like, come in, give me some information, you know, something that we might not know or we didn't cover or something we should have covered more of. Just please do that, you know.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, that's it, man, because go check that website out.
I will.
It's a really good builder. A lot of stuff. It's really impressive site. So, you know.
It's a site that brought me together, coming up saying, okay, this is what we need. This is what, you know, everybody needs to know this.
And it kind of, the way they have it organized, it kind of gets you in the mindset of what, categories do I need to cover? So it's like a template. You can use it as a template where you may not buy this, but it's a template to go down. Okay, I need this. Okay, I see how this is organized. So, peace, everybody.
Put it back out there right quick again. It's my bug out bag builder. There we go. Let me show it right here once again.
I wrote it down. Definitely gonna highlight when I get home. Get some time.
All right, y'all. Okay, man, it's been a good one.
Yes,
so go check out Skill Your Net tomorrow. You said 5:30 Eastern?
5:30 Eastern time, yes, sir.
Okay, 5:30 Eastern time. Y'all be there now.
Yes, sir.
Well, but we enjoyed everybody. Thank y'all, everybody that came in the chat. Skill Your Net, Black Poindexter, myself, Survival Saturday. Y'all have a good one.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Peace.